You're watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and I am always excited to have our next guest on, Mariana Cimino, digital marketing expert, really all-around amazing woman and dear, dear friend of mine who really knows her stuff. The metaverse topic came up last week, and I knew we had to have Mariana on to talk about this. So Mariana, welcome to America Trends. Hey, hey.
Hello.
So happy to have you back. I wish that you were here. You're currently in Florida, right?
Yes, that is correct. But in the metaverse, we could be together.
Okay. Oh, God. Oh, I have so many feelings about this. I'm so feelies. We can't wait to dive into this with you. But first I want to hear, because I know you've changed. You've gone through some changes professionally since we last had you on. So I wanted you to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, totally. It hasn't been long since I've been reminiscing about where I've ended up in my career. But as you know, I've been in marketing for a decade, and I started with startups, went through 3 failed ones, then moved into agency for 6 years. And in the last 6 months, I've decided to take a break from that and see what can happen outside of doing a lot of client work. So I've just kind of decided to pivot and build a business with my husband. So that's a whole other can of worms.
And it is a digital marketing company, correct?
Yeah, so the main thing is that we wanted to focus on small businesses. So one gap that I've found over the years with working in digital marketing is that a lot of small businesses can't afford high-end marketing. And we're trying to solve, how do we bring that high-level marketing that makes an impact at a more affordable cost for small business owners?
Well, we'll have to have you back specifically to talk about that, because I do think a lot of viewers of America Trends are small business owners, and it's so true. You know, we had a guest on yesterday who owns a big brand agency, and you know, the money that's put into those clients, it's amazing, the work that they do. But I thought, this is not attainable for average businesses, or, you know, everyday businesses, mom and pop shops, or whatever it is. So, you know, I do think that's a great space for you to do it. If anyone can do it, you can do it. So I can't wait to talk to you about that another time. But you're still in Florida, and I think you're coming maybe out to visit, so we might be able to get you over here in the seat.
That would be awesome.
Okay. So today, oh man, you and I have worked together in social media world for however many years together, and we've talked about Mark Zuckerberg ad nauseum, probably. So last week he came out and had this big announcement that they're moving. I don't really understand everything, which is why I have you here, but they're changing the name to Meta, and he's talking about this metaverse. And so I just want you to break this down for us. First and foremost, tell us what is going on with Facebook changing the name.
Totally. So like you, I had the initial reaction of, oh, I don't want change. I don't want this to happen. What does this even mean? Am I going to be calling my Facebook Meta? That doesn't sound right. Can I even do that? But after researching this quite a bit, and it's very new. Okay. So a lot of this is just speculation, but they are kind of changing their parent company name. So the way to think about it is that Facebook isn't going away, Instagram isn't going away. It's just that now, instead of just focusing on 2D screen experiences, they want to pioneer the next frontier of technology. So still focus on bringing people together, still focus on growing businesses online, but they want to move into augmented reality, virtual reality, and that just is not just social media. So they want to move into that. And so their new name comes attached with, hey, let's break this down into what we do for social and what we're going to be doing with Reality Labs, is what they're calling all of their new augmented reality and virtual reality spaces.
Reality Labs. Okay, yeah. So they're a social technology company, and I understand, I get the point that why would they have the name of just one of their apps when they own all of these, and then now they're moving into a new space. So it does make sense. I think I have a lot of issues with different layers of the metaverse. I do feel that all of a sudden with that announcement, we just all shifted gears. Like, we're all of a sudden going to need to start thinking about, you know, business agencies are going to start to have an AR team if they haven't already had one. And, you know, is it going to affect us all down the line? So maybe you can help me. We'll go slow. We'll break it down.
Yeah.
We'll go slow.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely slow, because that's actually their plan. They are looking to build this in the next decade. So right now, the metaverse is really just a vision. It sounds silly to even say it, but social media sounded silly back in the day as well, right? So, I mean, generationally speaking, right, you know, we had MySpace when I was first in high school, and then Facebook came about. I didn't really understand that. I mean, I freaked out when they changed the timeline. I don't know if you remember the timeline
Oh, yeah.
view.
Oh yeah, it was
How
the
could they
worst.
do that to us?
Right.
So now they're introducing this new concept, and with the privacy issues that have happened on Facebook, I think a lot of people are just feeling like, we're already having issues with disconnect. Why would we add another layer of going away?
That's what I've been
So
thinking. I'm like, you can't even get this right. We have all these issues that have come up. The whistleblower just announced, or not announced, but came forward, bring to light all these issues with the current platform and the things we need to work on. Why are we now going to this whole nother universe, metaverse that doesn't even exist? And to your point, he talked about, I know we spent so much time talking about how Mark Zuckerberg wants people to connect. That is his goal. He wants to bring people around the world to connect, but he wants them now to connect, not really connect. It's virtually connect. And I guess, I don't know.
So, there's one thing that I found very interesting about this, and I think this is what's great about the conversation, is that the metaverse is actually supposed to be more synchronous. So what I mean by that is that it's characterized by social presence. So the 2D screen, it's like you're liking something, there's input, you're kind of commenting, but it's not happening real time. Now imagine a use case where you and I want to brainstorm on something and we can actually be there at the same time together. That's a little bit more active than just scrolling on your phone, right? So I think there's an argument to be made about, will this actually help in some use cases build the connection that we're lacking with the social media channels we have right now? Because they are one-to-one or 2D, or I'm sitting on my couch, not really engaging with you real time, right?
That
So
makes sense.
I find that interesting about this whole layer of communication that's going to change.
I think that I'm feeling like a dinosaur kind of as well. And I also can't really wrap my head around, though, how does somebody feel like they're here with me? I mean, that's what he was trying to say. He's like, you just swipe and you're going to swipe and you're going to feel the person. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. Yeah, totally. So one thing I do want to, that I just learned. Okay. So there is virtual reality, which is essentially you put on the goggles and you're in a completely different world. Okay. Something from Avatar that you've never seen. Then there's augmented reality, which is I put on my regular glasses and I'm looking at the room I'm looking at, but maybe some of the artwork is moving. Or, when you do those tours, you go to different countries and somebody's giving you that tour. Now imagine that you're in Europe and someone is popping out of the painting and kind of enhancing that experience for you. So those two things are very different. One is you're escaping. The other one is we're enhancing the reality we're currently in. And that's a distinction I hadn't really thought about before.
Yeah, I really didn't know the difference between AR and VR, so I'm glad you broke that down for me. But I'm thinking, I do feel like this is just, I don't know, it's too much for my brain. But so one thing that I saw written out was called Horizon Home and Horizon Work or Workplace. Could you tell me what that is and how that factors into all this?
Yeah. So they're breaking this down into different places so we can kind of orient ourselves. If you've ever played Sims, it makes a little bit more sense. But the Horizon Home is essentially what it's going to be your main hub. So imagine that I want to invite you over to play games. I might invite you over to come check out my pad, essentially.
Okay.
And it's going to be a world that I create in there, and we can both sit around my table and play whatever game we want at that time. So that's what Horizons Homes essentially is. You'll create your avatar, which can look like you or it can't look like you, whatever you prefer there. So that's one aspect of the home.
So you're seeing, just to kind of see if I can wrap my head around this. So I'm going to create a space in my home. I'm going to create it in my device, create something that I think I want my home to look like, my virtual home. And then I'm going to call you or, somehow connect with you and dial you in and say, hey, Mari, come join me and play this game with me. And then I'm going to have these glasses on. I'm going to feel like you're in the room. I'm going to see you in the room, like your avatar, playing with my avatar. And like, we're actually, like, we could play a game. We could play
a game. We can have a chat. You can actually see my facial expressions. I mean, obviously we're many years away from this, but that's what they're working on. So when you have this headset on, they're working on the comfort of it, but I could be, giving you a micro expression of like, I don't like what she's doing. And you could actually see my face as I'm doing it, rather than, if I'm texting you, you have no idea what my facial expression would look like.
Only because I know you so well, I kind of know.
Well,
but
that's
you
true.
did say, that we could have brainstorming sessions. I mean, that's one of my funnest memories of us working together is we'd be on the Zoom till 10 o'clock at night in the dark, Zooming and brainstorming. So that would be fun to do. Totally. I guess. But okay, so we have to take a break in a little bit. There's so much here between connecting these real life experiences and meta. And I want to talk a little bit about what the opportunities are for people and brands, and also some of the controversies that are coming out. So you'll stick around for one more segment, yeah?
Let's do it.
Okay, so you're watching America Trends at home. I'm Burt-Godwin, and we have Mariana Cimino, digital marketing expert, who's on her own. You can find her on her Instagram, Mariana_Cimino. And you can find us at America Trends TV on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And stick around. We've got more with Mariana talking about all this Facebook metaverse stuff that blows my mind. You're watching America Trends. I'm Burt-Godwin, and I am chatting with my buddy, Mariana Cimino, digital marketing expert. And, you know, so much is going on here with Meta and Metaverse. So I'm so happy you're joining us, Mariana, to help break it down. You kind of explained to me the difference between AR and VR. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the opportunities here for people, humans, business owners, employees, workspaces, brands in the new metaverse, and what we can maybe look forward to, or what you're seeing maybe as what we can think of as opportunities, particularly me, who are like grouchy about it.
Yeah, so this is actually where I got the most excited about this, because I think there's a use case for this technology for a lot of people. The first one that particularly struck me as interesting was education. So one of the things that I thought about is, imagine that you're learning history on Rome. And I mean, I never liked history growing up or studying it, but now imagine that you could actually teleport yourself to that time and see what was going on at the time, like tangibly see it, feel that going on. Or imagine that you're a mechanic, right, working on a car, and you need to learn how to do that. Wouldn't it be a little bit easier if you could look down at your car and actually see all the parts and learn it that way? So from an immersive learning experience, I'm seeing a lot of opportunity here for a lot of people who maybe are not just read and learn it, they're more tactile or more visual. So this is something that could really help that audience.
Okay, I'm sold on that one. I like that education piece. And I did love art history and that kind of history. So I think that would be fascinating for sure. So what about with brands? You know, I just feel like it just completely blew the doors off of everything that people are now starting to need to think, how is this going to work into my marketing strategy? Like, is it something we need to start seeing in the next year, or is this 5 years down the line?
I don't think so. I think the main message that I got out of everything that I was digesting and learning is that they're investing over $150 million to help developers and creators build this kind of technology. We're not there yet, but we use Instagram filters, for example, every single day. I think 80 million hits every single month of people using them. So there's already proof of concept that people like that kind of technology. So the investment in the first few years, it's going to be, can we get the next generation of students to develop this kind of technology, because it doesn't already exist. So I think for now, it's going to be education on that development side.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned the younger generation, because I talked to my daughters, and they have their phones in their hands, and you know them well. And the other day I said something about Google Drive and having to share a document. She's like, Mom, I know. I've grown up with this. You know, like, I deal with people in this building, one of the owners maybe of the building, who doesn't want to deal with Google Drive because it's not in his realm of knowledge. But the younger kids, they've known it since they were in school. Everything they do is in school. So I guess it's going to be much more, they're going to be adaptable to this much more than this old lady. And it's going to become easier and more natural for them to even wrap their heads around it.
Yeah, and there's another thing that I thought was really interesting from an opportunity standpoint, and that is, accessibility and inclusivity. So imagine somebody who's not able to travel, or somebody who doesn't have the means or is in a wheelchair, right? Like, what kind of experience enhancements can we provide to those people that can now be included in going to a concert across the world, or seeing their favorite band, or, just having that engagement that would not otherwise be possible and would maybe feel isolating in any other realm. So I think that the metaverse has that possibility to engage people that may not be able to have those experiences otherwise.
I wonder though, the price point of all of this. At first, I'm assuming it's going to be pretty expensive, and then it won't be inclusive, but maybe after time, it will be something that we can, kind of go out to the masses and people that can make it affordable, right?
Well, that's one of the premises of Facebook. So this is kind of like the controversy a little bit, right?
Ooh, let's
So
talk about the controversies.
they make everything super affordable because there's ads, and there's a lot of criticism on that. We pay with attention, or you pay with a subscription. So they make their stuff super affordable, or give it at cost, in order to give more people that experience. So I don't think we're going to see that all of a sudden that experience is not going to be achievable for the average person. It's just a matter of when will that happen, and what will be the implications of, are there going to be ads? Most likely. Are you going to have to pay to go to those concerts? Yeah, for sure. So those are the economy builders that are going to happen in the metaverse that we don't yet know.
The add-ons, like every app that you have now, right? You get something for free, but then the first thing you want to do is you can't do this until you upgrade, right? I mean, it's going to be something similar to that. And what do you think about, do you think the timing of him coming out with this talk about metaverse is very suspect, because it came out right on the heels of the whistleblower? And, we have so much of the country saying, wait a minute, Facebook, let's stop and let's fix what's going on, right? Instead of trying to create this whole new world. Where do you see us all kind of as people, as business owners and people who are, giving money to Facebook for ads? There's a lot of businesses. I'm doing it for clients right now. We're putting money into Facebook because that's where we have to be. So where do businesses stand in all of this right now?
It's a controversy for a reason. It's tough because, no matter what we think, we're still on the platforms, and no matter, how much we're, making Facebook the villain, we're still getting results on it. Because I think that if people weren't, we wouldn't be on the platform. However, I do agree, right? There was some privacy issues happening. And I do think that Facebook is taking those very seriously, because of the fact that they have a 10-year runway to build this metaverse. So now they've got these innovation principles very clearly stated on their website that basically say, we're going to be transparent with our people about how their data is used, what we're doing with it. So we should expect to see a lot more transparency from them, because I frankly don't think people are going to want to stick around. I mean, I've seen a lot of people leave Facebook in the recent, couple of years because of the data privacy stuff. But I do think they're taking it seriously, but time will tell, right? We can all talk the talk, but what's going to happen will be determined with time.
Well, I certainly think about it with my girls, and more so not with the privacy, but also just the whole concept of what is this doing to their psyche. And it's Instagram more than Facebook, and it's also TikTok and Snapchat, but it's, they're constantly involved in this, and I'm constantly, on my controlling how much time they can spend, and controlling, saying, okay, put the phone down. And that's a whole nother bigger issue to talk about another time. But I do think that there's inherent issues with Facebook, although I'm a big proponent. I mean, you and I, I've learned this world with social media, and I do think that there's a lot of good that comes out of it. It's just these,
I think that there is a culture, we do have a culture of excess, and this touches on another topic that's much bigger. But I do think that parallel to any metaverse, any social media platform, we need to think about developing the mental health trainings that we need to kind of allow people to say, okay, this is the time I have for my screen, this is the time that I have outside of it, because there's no denying we've never dealt with social media platforms until the last 10 years. So we're not equipped to really know
What's going on.
long-term effect. Yeah, totally.
I'm not equipped to parent, number one, to try to keep kids alive, especially not with this. Well, we are out of time, Mari, and I'm so happy that you joined us. Mariana Cimino, Mariana_Cimino on Instagram, digital marketing expert. Thank you so much for being here. And everyone home, stick around. We've got Brad Ramber, actually. We're going to talk more about cybersecurity right after this.